Right, now we're heading off to see the buffaloes. That's it. Why do I always do that?
Just looks like they don't like us.
Well, they don't. No, they don't know you yet. And it's not actually, obviously they're lifting their heads because they use their sense of smell a lot more.
Right.
So that it's just their nose that
look at the baby calf in the...
Yeah.
They're pulling up.
So they're quite friendly with you, would they let you touch them?
Yeah. I mean, massively. I was going to go up to, we'll go up and see these guys. But buffalo could be like taught to do just about anything.
Right.
So in India and stuff, buffalo are plough. They can be trained to. They're a very, 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 very clever animal, but they definitely act very differently when there's strangers in the camp. Because they just don't know you yet, and they're just like, oh, what's going to happen here?
You can see now
they're very
alert.
they're inquisitive, aren't they? Very inquisitive.
Just like cows, there's different strains of buffalo. Like there are Friesians and Holsteins and Simmentals and Limousin. There is different. Unfortunately, they're all generally Indian names and stuff. And I'm useless at learning languages, and so I'm not going to repeat some of the names because I'll get them wrong. But yeah, they're quite funny.
And they're all female.
These are all. No, there is a couple of bulls in among them.
Right. Okay. Because automatically,
that's one of the bulls there. I can see it's Anto.
I totally understand why people, when they think buffalo, they think male, because you do kind of get that. I think it's the horns, is it not? Do you know what I mean? Like from a consumer perspective,
yes,
I understand that.
Yeah.
And what are you feeding them?
So, just on a silage, they do get a protein nut basically in the parlour. The cows have all got a collar on, so when they go into the parlour, it automatically knows what stage they're at in their and how much milk they're producing. That affects. I mean, it's not huge quantities. They get about anything between sort of 2 and 5 kilos a day, or of protein nuts basically.
They're amazing animals.
I have to say that it must be your perfume or something, because they really are genuinely. I sense that they're quite. I could get a feel for how they're. But they're
I really want to touch one, but I'm like, I really want to touch one.
No, you're going to get. Well,
will they let me?
No, they love attention generally. Probably let's go up and see these guys.
I told you I was a cow person. I told you. Maybe I'm a buffalo person. Oh wow.
So, hello.
Oh, they are so lovely, aren't they?
I do, and this sounds silly, but obviously now
So you
to them,
get.
you can completely see them like almost more in their like the countries they originated from, as you say, like when they were ploughing and in those kind of like I want to say like when it's waterlogged.
Paddy fields.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
They've got
very sweet.
big fat feet for that. Well, hopefully you're going to learn just in a second that one of the fundamental differences is they don't have a rough tongue, they have a smooth tongue.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because cows are like
It's like
sandpaper.
I told you that.
When you told me, I was like, no, but yes.
So the other significant difference like that I've found is their tails are a bit more like how a cow's tail, if you're like, say you've got a cow that's not cooperating, or you're trying to get to load into a trailer or in the crush, you maybe twist its tail and it would make it move forward because it's rigid. Because of the flies or whatever, the buffalo's tail is quite flexible, so it doesn't bother them in the slightest. But by God, they use them as like whip you, and if you get a whip from a buffalo's tail in the chops, especially a shitty one,
You know about it.
it's not a good day. I prefer it when they're out in the grass, but this is the time of year, the soil we've got here, the grass is not growing. They come in, they tell you that they want to come in. It was quite funny. I was so excited last year when we brought them into the shed for the first time. It's warm, yeah.
Sorry, that took me by surprise.
I was about to tell you, I should have told you about that.
Sorry.
So they use that, so that's another fundamental difference that you've just found. All right. They use their horns to transmit heat. So it's like so when they're hot, the heat goes out through their horns. They don't have the same sweat glands as cows. Cows have quite a lot. Oh, there you go, smooth tongue.
Very smooth. Sorry, I absolutely love
I don't
them.
know if it doesn't want to lick my hand.
I've got a favourite.
You've got favourites.
Team heels. Oh wow. These are honestly, to get up and close, I feel like the public want these type of things.
Oh,
They
they're
want to be able
really
to
cool
see
animals.
them. Yeah,
But
I
they-
love them. Love the tartan. That's it. It's Scotland, isn't it, for you? She really likes me.
I think
Glad you think so.
Well, is that? That's hot. No, I thought she does. Are you telling me she doesn't?
No. I'm joking. I'm
No,
joking. She does.
I get it. I get
Actually,
it.
I'm feeling a little bit because normally they're a lot more.
Oh, look, she
interactive.
does like me. Told you.
It's your perfume.
I love her. Can I take this one with us, please?
So when you're talking about them being in and outside, I think that's something which a lot of people think, oh, cows just need to be outside or sheep just need to be outside all the time. But actually, being in here gives them the optimum conditions, as you said, with your soil type and the conditions they'd have to be in outside.
They're definitely
It's actually better for them.
definitely quite content. It's the right thing. I mean, these mats that they're lying on, actually, they're, very, very expensive, but they're very, very comfortable. And
Yeah.
it's quite funny when we did let them out in the spring last year. It was like, oh, this is real. Finally getting them out, and it was going to be a great day. And they went down in the field, and then they all came back up. And we're like,
Get us in our warm shed.
what's going on? No, stay out. And they all went back in the shed. It was quite funny. So that was a real signal to me that the shed is working and that
Yeah.
they're happy in it.
Oh, I know, it gets hard. It gets hard.
But it's been
when
a
one of
real,
them
I
gets
probably haven't done a
attention.
very good job at explaining the sort of transition we've had to do, because all these animals are heifers.
Yeah.
And, it's been a big,
Can you say what is a heifer for any of our viewers who might not know what a heifer is?
so a heifer is an animal who's having its first calf or had its first calf, so it's in its first lactation. So basically the reason I'm saying that that's been a big challenge for us is that it meant none of them were familiar with the process of being milked and the routine and so
So you haven't got a leader almost to be like, okay, this is the way into the
yeah,
pile,
and I
then
do
this
think
is-
they kind of and that's why I think we didn't perform very well last year. I'm
Thank
really
you.
really confident that this is going to be because all these guys, certainly on this side, these are the ones that we're milking at the moment, and the guys on this side are pregnant, waiting to calve. So we've kind of got 3 lots. Milkers, there's like 38 in this group, and then ones to calve imminently, and then ones that will be, so everyone will have a calf in this side apart from by June.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll
How
all
many-
be.
It's going to sound really stupid. How
Yep.
many calves do each buffalo have? Do they have 1 or 2?
Brilliant question, because actually, well, one, I've never had twins. It's quite rare to get twins, but it's the most significant positive, in my opinion, about buffalo over cows is their longevity.
Right.
So a buffalo's peak production is probably in the 3rd, 4th lactation, whereas without wanting to, not all dairy farms, but a lot of dairy farms, their average milk, like lactation, is probably only getting to 4 and
Yeah.
a half, and the cow, because they're so extreme, they just don't have the longevity to stay in the herd, whereas these guys are actually only, and so we hope that they'll be milking well. And I mean, in my beef herd, I've got a cow that's 32 years old and still has a calf every year.
And how long would
So
they
it's
live
mental.
if they were kind
Yeah.
of, do I say in the wilds?
I don't know why this was, honestly, this is not normal buffalo.
Oh, it's me, isn't it? It's heels. They're not used to
It's
heels.
a tartan jacket. I think it's a perfume. It's been
Hello.
it's a great pleasure having nice smelling perfume in the shed, I have to say.
That's why they're not coming near me, because I probably smell of...
The camera can't pick up. These girls are smelling particularly nice today.
Thank you.
I sound very
Can we make a deal? If you have twins for the first time,
right.
boots and heels.
Boots and heels.
Yeah.
Afraid that, unfortunately, the founders trumped you.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Oh, you got my
See, I am
name now.
passionate. I'm only joking.
We can try, can't we?
What?
We can only try. Hello. I love you.
What is going on?
Yes, look. I'm nice.
But
Promise.
she's not been nice to you. She's like, this
She's
is,
not sure.
She's not sure.
no.
Look, I'm okay.
In terms of tags and movements, is it the same as cattle
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
And you just treat them like that in that sense?
All exactly the same. So they're deemed by the ministry as cattle, which in some respect, that's quite a cool picture we just got there. Did a big pose.
I'm just so happy right now, so happy. I think buffaloes are my calling, can you tell?
I mean, yeah, but cows were you were calling last week.
Yeah,
Now
but
it's on to buffalo.
yeah, but I can't see me going back. I can't. I love them.
And genuinely, once people start working with buffalo, they get, like you heard that, like there's just something initially they're just that bit different, and I do think it takes people a wee. You don't usually switch just as quick as you have, but once they kind of got to know that they're just so, like, people think they're these really aggressive kind of, but actually, if you get to know, and there is the odd one, but generally speaking, they're just like really loving.
I expected that. I expected, because cows are quite placid, aren't they? They're just, well, some breeds are, but I expected buffaloes to be quite in-your-face aggressive as such, but they're not. They're just like.
You can see they've settled down now a wee bit with you, like they're getting a little bit coming forward. They were just a wee bit, and it's partly because of COVID, and we've just not been bringing people up the way we would like to going forward. But
do you have to help them carve, or do they carve on their own?
100% calve on their own.
Wow.
I have never calved a buffalo, and I've had well over about, I think we were about 1,400 or 1,500 calves now since we started, maybe more.
My goodness.
So yeah, they are
That's
brilliant.
amazing.
That is, yeah.
But that's also why you don't get the same comfort. You know, they're very not but they're designed to kind of
You don't need to be
self-sufficient.
in with them.
Pneumonia as well. Very, 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 very rare to get pneumonia in a buffalo. Whereas obviously in cattle, pneumonia is one of the biggest problems and killers and biggest need for medicine. Whereas genuinely buffalo, not nixie, which is great.
Oh, they do suck. I'm used to this. But these ones have got teeth, so they're kind of like grazing. Oh, I love them.
They're starting to grow their horns.
Almost immediately.
Oh, wow, yeah. I think they've got like quite big ears.
Huge ears. They're like sort of little. Their ears don't seem to match like in proportion.
Yeah.
They're not
Have you
in
seen
proportion.
German shepherds when they grow? And they have massive ears in comparison to their bodies when they're puppies.
Well, it must
They're
be-
like that.
That's it.
That's exactly what I envision. They are really sweet. And how long does it take for them to get as big as the buffaloes over there?
So yeah, they basically the stages are at. So these guys will be about 5, 6 weeks old. They're on we feed them lamb's milk rather than because it's closest in sort of nutrition to the buffalo milk. So get that twice a day. But in terms of growth, we aim to have them pregnant and sort of joining the milking herd before they're 3 years old. So we try to about 2 years old, or just somewhere between 20 months and 2 years is when we bull them.
Right.
And we use natural bulls, but we can get semen and AI just like and it's something that I'm really keen to actually start doing.
Oh, look how happy.
We've just had such a big learning curve that throwing that into the mix as well,
Yeah.
AI and stuff, just wasn't quite. But hopefully maybe this year we'll start AI as well.
That one's called Gene.
So we have unofficially sort of started the
Naming.
So the calves have been getting it, but we've not put
this
the
is
names on the
Pippa.
cows yet.
So, I mean, I don't know what we thought. Are these all females, looking at their names, or?
No,
I thought there was a male. I thought that was the male.
Yeah, no,
wasn't
but bear in mind the names might also So that's going to So no, we keep the males and females.
So obviously females go back into the herd, males.
So that's what we.
Hello.
And that was a big part of why I think we did it the right way, but probably did it the hard way in terms of it was quite clear that people associate buffalo with mozzarella, but people didn't really appreciate buffalo meat until we started our business, well, certainly in Scotland. And so I think it was really important to make sure that we actually developed that and got that people didn't then see it as a cheap byproduct or
Yes.
a, you know, like,
Yeah.
so we've tried to make sure that people recognise buffalo as a premium meat and a good quality meat that should be up there with the very best of beef. And that's
Silly, aren't you?
because then at least it means that there's no negative byproduct with a little bit. That's one of the challenges the dairy industry faces, is that the male calves are, sometimes not viable, and that's quite a challenge, I think. And hopefully with what we've created, and we've got really good demand for the buffalo meat, we're constantly selling out, and that really helps the whole numbers stack up, because you're not just relying on the milk, and that actually is genuinely a real dual purpose thing. We are going to trial different styles of rearing the calves. So Juan in Venezuela, he runs 2 herds. So one which is called his nanny cows, where each cow will rear 4 calves. And so the cows go out to grass during the day, come in the morning and night and feed the calves, and then go back out, rather than using the powder milk. And I quite fancy that. We just, again, it's because it's been such a steep learning, just not trying to do too many, but we need to get that set up, and we're looking at phasing out our beef herd and turning them into nanny cows so that they rear the calves of the dairy. But you're supplementing the calves with extra meal, and the one cow might, you're weaning them still a wee bit earlier, but she's rearing 4 calves rather than.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully from a consumer perspective, it's a nicer, because I think it is something that does trouble people.
It does.
Does it trouble me? I think because I've grown up with it, you're kind of.
It's the same as when we were having these chats, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely.
You were almost accustomed
I
to
have
it.
a very different perspective because of the backgrounds we've had, and neither's wrong. But as I say,
if you sit down and really talk about it, you think taking it away, it's quite, because we need that milk. But equally, so there's people needing food, But then you're saying, well, hang on, buffalo's a bit of a mozzarella is a luxury product, so we've got to kind of be that extra bit.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that, think about that. I'm very comfortable that these calves are getting a great start to life.
Yeah.
And actually, we in many ways, it's a bit like this. There's a stigma around. Well, I've just had a wife now. Just had a second child, and like, do you give it formula or do you breastfeed? And sometimes some babies work really well on breastfeeding, and it's a dondle. And that's what happened with Harry. But our second child, it turned out that actually a bottle's become a bit easier and suited the baby better. And she's grown like a little mushroom. Harry grew like well. It doesn't mean we love either of them any less.
Yeah.
And actually, so these guys getting formula rather than cow's milk. They're in groups, so they're engaged. We're actually consistently, because we're hand feeding them, we know for certain that animal is getting, and there's no question, we don't have that, oh, has it fed, has it not fed?
Yeah.
Whereas we trigger if an animal's not well, we see it quicker. Whereas if it's out with its mother, unfortunately, it's either alive or dead, is being quite honest. Whereas here, you see the trigger quite quickly.
And this is what we're trying to show, is just, it's education. People can make decisions, people can make choices, and that's fine, but it's having that education to make that choice.
And there's
But
different
that
ways of
education
doing
goes 2 ways, because I think for me, I'm listening to, and it's quite, whilst we have to run a business, and it has to, because the economics have to have a very important part of the discussion, because if it doesn't make money, welfare goes out the window as well, because you can't afford to pay for the feed, you can't afford to pay for the husbandry, so it has to make money, otherwise the business. So you can't saddle or come up with a system that isn't going to, but where we can, and actually with the way the price of powdered milk and stuff is going, my model that Juan's sort of talking about with this might actually be a more. We've not run the numbers 100% yet, but I just think it's. I'm pleased that we're embracing that and thinking about that, and I think who knows, we might come up with something that may end up being a total non-starter, but we will definitely consider it. That's for sure.
So we both got our boots on and
Yes, we do, and we're going to help move some calves, which is very exciting, and I think we're moving them to some bigger pens, so they'll be frolicking around.
well, should we head off?
Yeah, let's.
Come on then. Well, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
I eat like this every lunch.
Oh my gosh.
I actually would if I was you.
Oh, it's delicious. It's like really meaty.
That particular burger is just literally salt and pepper. There's nothing been added at all. So it's just.
It's delicious.
Never thought this through very well. Eating and
No chatting whatsoever.
no one's
so
talking.
good though.
But
It's
sure,
so good.
this part was meant
We'll
to be
just
an
cut
interview.
this out.
I think we better try this ice cream before it melts. Right. So ice cream. So it's half melted because we've been so busy tucking into our burgers. But
You ready?
Yeah.
so that is not vanilla. This is just the buffalo. So I wish I'd named it naked buffalo, but we've actually named it pure buffalo. So it's just the buffalo milk that makes this ice cream.
It almost tastes like vanilla.
It is like vanilla. It's like really creamy.
I think that's delicious.
So do I.
And I guess that has more. If you made a normal milk into ice cream, it wouldn't have that sort of flavour. It wouldn't be as creamy. It wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it takes less buffalo milk to make ice cream because of the fats.
Yeah.
We talked about, same as the mozzarella. I mean, I'm not kidding. I think there's a subtle difference there, but it's ice cream. Yeah, well, we've not reinvented the wheel, but I think it's a very good ice cream.
Yeah.
And yes,
Delicious.
it complements the mozzarella really well because this product has a 2-year shelf life, whereas a mozzarella has a 21-day shelf life. So the theory behind the ice cream, and if we can develop that market, is that when we have produced the ice cream in periods of better production, higher level, and then the mozzarella we produce and sell at like basically our lowest level, and then so we don't let any customers down. We know what we're going to have consistently on a weekly basis. But if we have a peak in production, that's when we put that milk into the ice cream. And that's the theory, because then we can store that and quieter times, because there will be mozzarella's a bit seasonal. People salad, summer. Winter time, it's probably not on your priority list as much, although it goes really well on a pasta and all that sort of stuff. But summertime is more when people tend to be trying to get that beach body and
We can try.
So that's the theory. But I'm glad you like it.
It's amazing. Everything we've tried today has been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not even paying you to say that. That's even better.